can take one single video and turn it into a month full of content. So today I'm going to show you exactly how, step by step, so how one recording can become your short clips, your captions, your written posts, a trailer, and much more in a super easy way. I'm Natalia and I help creators like you turn content to income, freedom, and a brand you're proud of. And for this video, I've partnered with Riverside, so let's do this. Now, before we jump in, I want to quickly clear one thing up because whenever I talk about repurposing, a lot of you worry that you'll just be repeating yourself over and over again and boring your audience, but that's really not the case. Repurposing is all about taking one strong idea and showing it in loads of different ways for different people. So some of your audience will want to watch a quick clip, some will read a caption, some will click through to a full blog post, and every one of those is a fresh angle of that same general idea. This is by far the best way I know to stop yourself burning out, to always have something to post, and to squeeze absolutely everything you can out of every single thing you create. And it's no surprise that the majority of big players in the content space repurpose their content in some way. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. And I'm going to get a little meta with you here because the foundation you will be using is going to be a recording of me talking about this exact topic. So repurposing your content. I basically sat down and recorded what I like to call a yapping session. So just me talking through my thoughts on why repurposing matters, and that recording is going to become my anchor. And by anchor, I mean one bigger, more value-dense piece of content that covers a subject in a bit more detail than, say, an Instagram reel would, and then everything else you can post can point back to it or directly pull from it. So it's kind of like the source. For me, that's very often a YouTube video, but it doesn't really have to be. This is going to work just as well with a YouTube video, with a client call, maybe an interview, a podcast, a webinar, a live stream, or even a solo talking head like the one that I've just recorded. So basically any longer video that you can then atomize. And it works for all types of creators and businesses too. So I really want you to think outside the box here. It doesn't have to be the classic kind of content recording session. Say you have a membership and you're doing a Q&A call. Maybe you agreed with your client that you can record your talk. Maybe you're an interior designer and you're doing a walkthrough video, a language teacher recording a lesson, again with consent. Whatever you do, if you can record it, you can then multiply it and atomize it. Now, the tricky part has always been the actual doing. Now, I'm great at strategy, but executing across different platforms and individual posts is just very tough for me. Turning one recording into all of those different pieces usually meant jumping between like 5 different apps, exporting and re-uploading your files, scouring through the timeline for the right moments, and then starting every single caption and blog post from a blank page. And that's the kind of friction that will really make you want to give up. So let me show you how you can do the whole thing much easier and in one place. So this is where Riverside comes in, who, as I mentioned, are kindly sponsoring today's video. If you haven't come across it before, Riverside lets you record or upload a recording and then turn it into short clips, written content like blog posts and newsletters, a trailer, a thumbnail, any captions for your socials, basically any content, again, all in one place. The recording is in 4K, so the quality is perfect. And since the recording is local, even if the Wi-Fi drops, it will still preserve your footage so you don't lose it. And that's super important if you maybe have a guest and both the recordings will then be protected. This is why it works for interviews, for webinars, live streams, and of course, solo talking head videos too. So it's perfect for the exact kind of content. So again, the anchor content we've been talking about. If you want to try it out, you can use my code NataliaK for 1 month free on the Riverside Pro or Grow plan, and I'll pop the link and the code down in the description for you. So let's jump in and I'll walk you through it step by step. Now, the first thing you need is your anchor, your main source. For me, this is my yapping session. Riverside lets you record right inside the platform in really high quality. You can do it on your own or remotely with someone else. So if you were doing an interview with a guest, a podcast, maybe a client call, you could hop on and record together in one place. Since my session was just me talking to the camera, I actually recorded it directly in here. But if you already have a video sitting on your computer, you can absolutely upload it instead. So it all works the same way. way. As a nice bonus, if your anchor happens to be a webinar, Riverside can actually host the webinar itself. So again, your recording and all the repurposing will live in one studio, and you won't be moving through this file through all these different tools afterwards. Now, I love that you can edit the whole video like a document because the whole thing is transcribed. So you just edit the text to cut the video. Now, if you stumbled over a word or there's like a long pause that you want to get rid of, all you have to do is to select it in the transcript, delete it, and that's sorted for you. Apart from this, Co-Creator, so the AI assistant, actually finds useful tips for you so that it can find any repeated parts to cut for you. So I can just click apply and that's going to get cut for me very, very easily. Now, if editing isn't your favorite part, this is actually so much simpler and you'll edit so much faster this way. And you actually edit on a file that's optimized. So the process is super smooth while the actual end result is actually exported in full quality. So you can see the comparison in here. This is just the optimized file and this is the end result. Now, before we start creating content from our recording, there's one quick setup step that is going to make the rest so much better, and that's your brand and personalization setup. You'll find it within your recording, and then if you go to Co-Creator and click personalize to the right of it, you'll see 3 different tabs, so workflows, brand, and tone and voice. Now, for workflows first, you can choose exactly which workflow so you want included every single time you record or upload. So if you make podcasts or YouTube videos, you can see in here that I've selected episode title and episode description. So these are not default, but you can just select them in here. If you're repurposing for socials, you can turn on LinkedIn posts and Instagram caption and maybe threads in here as well. Maybe if you want to, you can also add a newsletter. And then something that's really great if you're a coach, you can also grab your top insights, so key takeaways from the conversation. So this is something they can share with your clients, all build all your content around. This is great for carousels, for example. And for each of these, you can first, for the top, for the recommended ones, you can specify the settings you want for each of them, or below, you can also specify a custom prompt so that this basically is tailored to exactly what you want. So I can say something like this and close it, and that's going to be much more tailored to the results that I want. Then within the second tab, you can specify your brand kit with your fonts and colors and like caption style in here and other brand assets, which then makes editing later so much easier. And finally, at the top, there's also your tone of voice, which basically teaches Co-Creator more about you and your brand and your tone of voice so that everything it writes sounds much closer to what you naturally sound like. Okay, once that's set up, we can start repurposing. So I'll hit X here at the top. That's going to be saved for us. And I can jump into Made for You, where we can have this hub for repurposed content. Now, the biggest focus is always on video content because that's what creators really struggle with. So this is usually where I start. Now, we have the section for magic clips, and Riverside will basically look through your long recording and grab any kind of short and shareable moments for you automatically. So then the strongest chunks of this yapping session will then get turned into vertical clips that you can post on, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, wherever you choose to publish your content. And this, of course, normally takes ages because you just sit there, you go back and forth on the timeline, trying to find these good parts. So this is super helpful. You can see that all of them are actually scored. And from here, you can actually browse through what it pulled and then pick your favorites. You see what parts are in here identified with a specific description. And then, one can be a really clear point that you made, or maybe something that your audience will really connect with. So say one clip is like you explaining one specific idea. So I have the streamline your content creation here. And then we've got another, which is like batch by activity, which is more of a tip. So I'm breaking down a tip. And just like that, I've got like 2 separate clips, 2 separate talking head videos from one recording without filming anything new. You can, of course, preview every single one of those clips. I'm not going to play it just not to break the recording, but I'll go to edit in here because if you want to tidy up your short, you can always jump in and edit it the same way as you did your original, because the editor is the same transcription-based editor as it would be for anything else. You can also see that it's playing with the exact style of caption that I've specified within my brand kit. Of course, sometimes you remember that there was a part of your recording that you want to use and it maybe wasn't picked up by magic clips. You can always jump back into the recording, then go ahead and click edit. Then you select the part of the script that you want to use as a clip. And then from here, all you need to do is to click this little icon in here, and that's going to create a new edit, which is super simple. Then this clip appears under your edit, so I can click on it in here. And from there, I can change the ratio and add captions and make it basically the beautiful content that it normally is. So I'll go for captions in here, and you can see the theme preset for the caption styles that we've set up within the brand kit. And voila, that's how easy it was to create a custom, completely new magic clip. And now we're ready to move on to our written content. Now, I know you're going to like this bit because I constantly hear from creators that they may enjoy recording or they may enjoy designing, but when it comes to writing, it's actually their least favorite part. Now, depending on what you've selected in the workflows under personalization, you'll see other things created underneath in the made for you section. I think as a default, Riverside generates a blog post in here, but you'll see whatever you selected during the setup in here as well. Now, I could also then jump into co-creator chat and ask for something very specific. You can see the preview for my blog post. However, I may want to have something longer, so I can jump to co-creator and say, make my blog post longer, literally asking. And then you can see that I can ask for it to generate. I can reply yes, and it's gonna create it for me. And within literally seconds, we have an expanded blog post that we can actually paste somewhere else, or you can go ahead and tweak it inside within the chat. You could also ask for like a newsletter based on your content. You can ask for anything you want. And again, you can keep tweaking it within the chat, or you can actually tweak it afterwards yourself. And because everything comes with a copy button, I can just click on it in here and then paste it wherever I need it and work on it further to make it yours. And I'll always go in and add my own examples, maybe, make further edits, because I really think that making it yours is so important. But the fact that you don't have to start from scratch just makes the whole thing so much simpler, because you already have this beautiful anchor content that is guiding every single creation by Riverside from then on. And there are, of course, many different things that you can do within this studio. So there's this little kind of magic pencil in here within the co-creator that gives you so many different ideas. So once you've got your clips and maybe your written content, it's really nice to have something that teases the main video in here. So if I scroll down, I can actually select a promo trailer in here. And then once I click it, it's going to generate a trailer from the recording as well. Great. Okay. Again, within seconds, we've got the trailer in here, so you can click to preview it. Of course, it's not kind of playing the sound in here. But again, same as with the clips, I can jump in and edit it, and then you'll see the streamlined feed of the different edits. So it's super easy to maneuver between them. Apart from this, what I could do is to go ahead and generate a thumbnail. So if I click on it from here, you can see that it's very quickly going to ask me for the style of the thumbnail that I want. So this is what it gave me. And I really love the fact that there are so many different styles to choose from. There's this like editorial take that I really love. There's like announce updates, very cool. And it gives you this very nice baseline to create something unique based on the frames from the main recording. So I'm just going to click in here, and then it suggests the specific title. So I can say create without burnout, and let's see what it generates for us. So we now have two different options for the thumbnail. I can download it from here, or I can just give feedback if I like it and not like it. So it's going to teach co-creator how to create better results for you. And apart from that, of course, we still have the chat to tweak, so you can see that it's actually suggesting that if I want to make it punchier, I can adjust the expression. So for example, I could ask to grab a different clip or a different frame from my video, and that's going to change the expression for me. But I'm happy with the results. I can just use this as the basis for my episode. And again, what you create depends on what type of a creator or a business owner you are, but you can do the majority of it within Riverside. And if there's something that you cannot find in here, you can of course ask the chat for it, and it's going to create it for you. Okay, we have all this content, but getting it published also takes time, right? That's why it's worth getting organized, planning and scheduling, so that you know where you are with your content, and any videos and clips can be posted for you automatically without you having to worry about it. You can jump to the planner in the left panel in here, and this is a super useful tool for many reasons. First, you can pre-schedule a recording, so you can go to the plus sign sign for the date and select a session. And this way you can actually select it for yourself to know when you're recording your next videos. It's almost like a calendar for you, but it also lets you invite a guest and send out an email or invite via link, which means that you have this time and place sorted for your remote recording, which is really, really cool. Second, you can actually go ahead and schedule any clips that we've just created to go live automatically. So I'll go to the plus sign, go to social media posts, and from here you can connect any of your platforms. You can see that I've got my Instagram connected, and from the preview, if you click, you'll see all those beautiful clips in here. So I can just click it, and that's going to start scheduling for me. Of course, you can enter your caption below in here as well, and you can choose a date and time for the content to go live. And you can use this space, this calendar, to also plan a live, maybe plan a newsletter, plan an episode, anything you want. You can schedule it from here too, so it's really useful. That's weeks of content, and once you kind of space it all out, that's easily a whole month, all from that one recording. Of course, I always recommend sprinkling in some other content in between, but this means you have so much more capacity for more spontaneous posts in between when your calendar has been taken care of in one easy flow. So let's bring this right back to where we started. So often the reason you run out of things to post or burn out on content creation is that every idea you have only ever becomes one single post, and the second it's published, it's actually gone, so you're back at staring at a blank calendar the next day. But when you change your mindset to, again, squeezing as much as you can from one solid anchor recording, it can then be transformed into different formats for different platforms in like 10, 20, 30 different ways. This way you're reaching different people in ways that they like to consume content, and this one idea just keeps working for you over and over again. That is how you can stay consistent without constantly recording something, coming up with new ideas, and how you can fill up a whole month without spending hours on creating content. And you really don't need a big production to start. Your next anchor could be just you talking to the camera for 20 minutes like I did. You record it once and then you let it become all these different types of content. And if you want to set this whole workflow up for yourself, you can try Riverside with my code Natalia K for 1 month free on the Pro or Growth plan. You can grab the link down in the description right now. And a big thank you to Riverside for kindly sponsoring this video. Now, I'd love to know, what would you record first as your anchor? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to go more in depth on repurposing and my own strategy with this, watch this video next. And if you want a strong content strategy yourself, watch this one right after. Make sure you subscribe because I've got so much more coming to help you create with more freedom and less overwhelm. And leave a like if this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.